This will be recorded in cloud just in case we get disrupted. Wi-Fi, internet, whatever, just realize it is because of we live in the Philippines. We are going to be talking about geotagging photos and adding XF data. And I'm going to be giving you my SOP for that today. It will be uploaded into the back end where all the SOPs are at. Okay. That being said, this is not just about XF data. XF data being what's the latitude and longitude of images. We have already started doing the on-page SEO and already started seeing some rankings. Aisha, I don't think you're in here, but this is Aisha's website. And basically, we've already started fixing a lot of the quote unquote on-page issues with her website. Right now, my internet's acting up on it, but it's still loading. Here we go. So typically speaking, when someone builds a website, they have this little problem in which, see if y'all can see my screen. If it's too small, let me know and just hit a 1 if it's too small, because I'm going to try something different. Is my screen too small? Give me a 1 if it's too small, or if you like it the other way. It's good. It's good. Great. We're going to do it this way. As long as y'all say it's good, get a couple more. So normally when you're building a website, so originally she didn't have her actual main keyword here. She didn't have her H1 set up. She didn't have a lot of stuff we've already started adding. She didn't have her she didn't have her, if you will, her testimonials. Testimonials weren't put in as text, bunch of stuff. So we've already started with that. I've also, Aisha, fixed your forms. Your forms weren't working. They were broke. They are all now working. So awesome on that front. But that's not what we're going to be talking about today. So for the most part, what people will generally do is they'll come in, they'll build a website and just upload images, right? And it's probably how most of you maybe build a website. I mean, most web designers are not SEO people. So when they add an image, let's just open this image per se. Let's go up here. What is this image called? You know, open image in new tab. It is Toyota logo, which has nothing to do with the towing niche you're in. Let's go up to this image for 24-hour emergency service renewal. It is simply called 12.jpg. So when they uploaded those images should have been named according to the service they were providing or the page they were providing. Okay, this is my take on it. It's how I do things. Someone else may do it differently, but I'm going to tell you how I do it. Number 2, we're going to use a website like Geoimager, and don't worry about taking notes. All this is in the SOP. Geoimager basically allows me to upload photos, and I can put in keywords, I can put in latitude, longitude, a bunch of information, right? Some of which is not even what most people think of. They'll think of keywords, they'll think of maybe latitude and longitude, but I'm going to give you, for example, where we get machine IDs and stuff from. Some of the stuff that you're going to hear, one of the reasons why I praise Brent a lot is because Brent has taught me a lot. Just from the past year, I've known him, I've learned some things from Brent, such as when your images, besides doing image layovers, which I was already doing, we're going to get into some of that in what we talk about. But for instance, I'll give you for instance, you could take what we call DBpedia. So here's everything. So they're in Sydney and their industry is towing. I've already pulled the information, already have the information. I'm going to give you these websites. So these websites, for example, I can go and get a knowledge graph. I'm going to show this to you in Wikipedia or in Google alone. Let's start with Google. About towing. There is a knowledge graph for the towing niche. Okay, so this information from Google should be somewhere on your website. Google's telling you when I go to the knowledge graph or the machine ID, which is right here. Okay, when I look that machine ID up, it's giving me the knowledge graph. On top of it, it is also giving me the questions that people are asking about towing. Once again, which I've told y'all 1,000 times about how to build content, where to get content ideas from, everything, right? So that's that part. Then we also have Wikipedia. Inside of Wikipedia, you have another, if you will, set of information that we can use throughout the website in our images. You'll notice a lot of times very specific pictures that Wikipedia will use. I will sometimes use these pictures inside of, if you will, blogs on the website, on my location pages, inside my press releases, okay? But I'm just giving you a gist. There's Wikipedia. Then we also have Wikidata, and they give you what we call a Q code, okay? This is the Wikidata code. This is the code right here that refers to the towing niche, okay? Transporting of items gives you definitions, everything, right? The statements, all this is a lot of times on top of it. This same information is the information that I'm going to use when I'm writing schema. When I'm doing our advanced schema, these websites is what we're pulling a lot of that data from, okay? What we're wanting to do, like Chris and me and everybody else have mentioned, and it gives you core topic IDs, U.S. National Identifier, KBPD ID, Gestor topic ID, encyclopedia, free base, the free base ID, you know. When you look at free base, this is all the different people that are associated with it. But essentially what you want to do, remember we've talked about, you want to make yourself known as the entity for that niche in your specific city, right? And how we do that? We do that by connecting the dots, if you will, from Google My Business or Google Profile to your website, as well as associating all the machine IDs, knowledge graphs, everything from those points of interest to your website. And we do that by using these bits of information. And I'm going to give you all these different websites as well. I'm going to be putting this in the back end under the SOP. This is DBpedia, it gives you information about towing. All right. The abstract, the thumbnail. Okay, that thumbnail, see it's associating it with WikiCommons. It gives you all the wiki page links, emergency road services, articles containing video clips. I mean, just hauling tugboats, tons and tons and tons of information, right? And I'm not going to say use all of it. I'm just telling you, these are the places you can get this information from, right? These are all very important whenever we start, if you will, optimizing images or a specific area for a specific niche. Next is, okay, she's in Sydney. So there is a knowledge graph, or if you will, a Google machine ID, or this as well. And this tells you about Sydney, top stories in Sydney, etc. And things to do, population, you know, area, want to plan a trip, things to do, top sites. This stuff look familiar? This is where we get our location page information from. All this stuff right here, right? If you click on more things to do, this is where I'm pulling all this information from my location pages. I know I'm not going to be talking about location pages, you know, to do, but give me one second. Yeah, it's just, apparently it's just you, okay? Because I've asked everybody, they said it's good, it's good, it's good. So how many of you can see the screen? Give me a 1 if you can see the screen or if it's blurry. Or I'll go back to the other one. It's not blurry, blurry, bit fizzy. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go back to the normal way. It gets grainy from time to time. So do you want me to keep it this way, or do you want me to go back to sharing screen the old way that we normally do it, where it's camera only, and then I do a screen share? You want me to do screen share? I'll do screen share, either way. Waiting. Old way, screen share, cool. Okay, we'll do it that way then. All right, so this is where I get all my location page information from, right? All this information in here. Then in Wikipedia, we have information that's very important when it comes to Sydney as well. So you'll see me, I'll come in here and I'll grab, even if I want to use some images, I'll use some of the images and information. Give me 1 second. There we go. So for whatever reason, give me 1 second, because y'all want to go back to the old screen and okay. All right, so on here, I'll use some of these images to talk about Sydney, right? In my Sydney pages. When we go to actually build this out, that's exactly what we'll wind up doing. All right, then we also have Wikidata, once again, talking about Sydney. This is the same place we're going to pull information for, if you will, schema. The capital, the population, the coordinates, all that information. Now, specifically, when you're dealing with Australia, y'all got a ton of suburbs. So luckily, we can do that real quick. Give me 1 second. But we have all that information here. And then we got DBpedia for Sydney, Wikidata, and all that information. So now, that being said, so once again, all this information about Sydney, we'll somehow try to incorporate that into, if you will, our website, specifically our location pages. But now when you go to the actual website, let me let Alfredo in, way better, thank you very much. Way to go, good. Okay, so if you've noticed these images, which I was showing you earlier, for example, these images right here should have been, like, for instance, this one is 24-hour emergency towing. So what should this image name? Give me a guess, any of you. Give me a guess. What should it be called? What should we call this image where it's a towing service or emergency towing service? Should I just call it truck or 12.jpg? 24-hour emergency towing. Car towing, the next image, bike towing, boat towing. All these should be named according to the page they're on. That is the way I do it. I've had so-called SEO experts tell me, no, don't do it that way. You just call it, you know, for example, truck towing another truck. Bingo. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, which Brent showed me this, just give you an example. This is one way Brent showed me about, you know, I talk about reverse engineering, and Brent, this is the way he'll do it. So for example, if you are going to go emergency tow truck in Sydney, what are the images across the top 5 right here? So these are the type of images I want to use. These are the type of images that Google is recognizing. Okay. Sometimes what I will even do is I will even come in here and grab these images and modify them. I can modify by flipping them. I can modify them by changing some colors, coloration of the truck, coloration of the car. And I do that inside of Adobe Photoshop. Okay. I do the same exact thing, if you will, for YouTube. Like, and Brent, me and him talked about it. You go to YouTube, look up, let's say, local SEO. What's the top 5 images across the top? Inside of them, Brent's the one that told me that, and I started using it. I don't do everything. I don't know everything. You could take this truck, for example, this truck right here that's appearing in the top, and I could take this and remove this logo and put my own logo, or maybe even take this truck there where it's white and make it black and change the stripes to white. I could do all types of shit. I could flip the truck around so it doesn't look like it's the same, if you will, image. You can grab them from another country if you wanted to, but in specific, we're trying to deal with Sydney. So we're going to Sydney, Jeff. But I use Adobe Photoshop, and then I love Canva anymore. Past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, absolutely love Canva. So, but some things I still do Adobe Photoshop. Now, that being said, another thing, for example, I'll show you this. When you're naming your images, this is a little trick, if you will, that Brent, once again, taught me. All right. So I'm giving Brent all the credit I can do. But you see, and I knew about this, but for example, Google has the ability to read an image, right? If I take this image and I put it inside of their image reader, which I can give y'all as well. I did another video on this one, but on YouTube. But when you put this image in, Google sees all types of things. So for instance, brick wall, tree, house, car, motorcycle, license plate, straps, tow truck, road. Now, how in the hell can I get Google to recognize what these are? Well, what I can do is I can take this image, right, of a tow truck. Let's say, for instance, it's going to be this image right here. I'm going to open up the image in a separate tab. We grab this image. We could take this image, if you will. We're going to open up Adobe Photoshop. And I'll show you as soon as Adobe opens. Now, this is just outside of not even talking about latitude and longitude right now. We're just talking about basic image editing. So, or not basic, but you know what I mean. So we have this image right here. How can I make Google, because Google not only reads images, but they read text. I can take text and I can put text layovers or image layovers. Like right here, I could go, for instance, let's reduce the size down to, let's say 12. Let's make the color this, right? Let's choose the text. Okay, I like that color. All right. And let's choose a legible text per se. Let's say tow truck, right? You're not really going to see it, but you know, you could tone it down a little bit and they're not going to be able to see it, right? Google's API will read it. Now, another thing I could also do is I could get the knowledge graph or machine ID. All that fancy dancy information I was showing you over here with all these IDs like this, all that information, let's say for towing, I could put inside of the text. Or I could put inside the image. without anyone else seeing it, but Google's API will read it. Have we tested it? Yes, I've tested it. And I've done this before, and they will read the text that's inside the image. It doesn't have to be completely legible, or if you will, where the naked eye can see it, because Google's API will see it. I can go in here. These are tire straps, if you will, or these are towing straps. I could literally take this. It's another thing. You could take this and go, for instance, and Brent knows this. He's the one talked about before you, towing straps. That's why I started talking about this shit. Go towing straps. I could take it and make it blue, right? And then I could shrink that thing way, 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 way down. So now it's blue and you see it, but I go like this, and I go like this, and I put like this. And I take this little thing right here, and to the point that you won't necessarily see it, but Google's API will read it. Let me let these people in. Are you following me? Give me a 1 if you're following me. Have a great night, Brent. 11111. Great. Let me make sure. Yep. Any questions? Yeah, you're only supposed to see my Photoshop screen so far. Okay, so I take this information and then I put it in the images as layovers. Okay, then I use those images on the website. Now, when you are saving your images, right, before you use them on your website, make sure you optimize their sizes, because what can happen and what will happen is if you put all this information, XF data into it, and then you use a WordPress plugin to quote unquote optimize it, it strips all that data off. It won't strip the quote unquote image layovers, but if we put it into the Geo Imager, we take Geo Imager, right? And I'll show you this. You take Geo Imager and I'll show you real quick. Give me 1 second. So in Geo Imager, you log into it. You log into Geo Imager. Whenever I log in, I can upload the image here, and I'll give you an example. Let's just grab my ugly looking face. I'm just joking, my beautiful face. And I want to say, I want to type in, you know, whatever. Let's go to Rank Fortress. Have to get the other one. Let's just grab one of these. Like if I was in this area, it will tell me, it gives me the latitude and longitude, right? Latitude, longitude right here, right? You can even drag and drop them in here. So if I was to drag and drop them in here, you can drag and drop a ton of images. You can upload all the images at one time. Once you upload them, okay, you're going to have to upgrade your tool. If you're going to use it here, you have to upgrade it and everything else. I'm not getting into all that. But once you upgrade it, you know, you can actually then take those same images and upload them all in one time. And I go through how to enter in your license key. Only use 20 uploads are supported at a time. But once you upload them, you're going to be able to put, if you will, all of your text, your latitude, longitude in it. You know, once it's done, you can then download your images, etc. All right. Let me go out here. Let me let this person in real quick. Let me get my code and I'm going to show you this real quick. All right. Let's go to here. All right, so for example, I uploaded this image just to give you an example, and I can place my latitude and longitude. Let's say I wanted to put them right here in, you know, let's just do, I'm just going to say I'm in India, just give you an example, right? And it's going to pull the latitude and longitude. If I want to put the latitude, longitude in here, if I want to put the keywords in here, I'll put about 10 keywords. I won't put no more than 10 keywords in here. Keyword, comma, keyword, comma, keyword, comma, keyword, comma, etc. I put in my description in here. You know, your description, for example, if this was an image of Sydney or of a towing bike, I want a description of the towing bike. Emergency towing, I want to use the keyword inside the description, okay, of that specific image. So emergency towing, boat towing, motorcycle towing, make a description, put it in there. Then once I'm done, I go write XF data, you know, title tags, it writes it, and then I can click download, right? Then I can upload it as long as it's already optimized. By optimized, I mean correct sizes for WordPress. Now, most of you haven't done this. So what's the solution? So the solution is not going to be that nice or not that pretty, if you will. How many of you are familiar with FTP or file transfer protocol? How many of you are familiar with web design? Let me put it that way. Yes, Wayne is. Yes, Bambi. So if you haven't done all of this right and you wanted to optimize your images and you wanted to do it all at one time, the easiest way to do it would be go into your WordPress files, download all of your images, which we go over as well in the SOP, which I'm going to give you. Take all your images, download them, right? And it's going to download them. Then you're going to take all those images, upload every one of them. You're going to optimize every one of them, change all the images, do the layering, save it as the same name. Even if it's not the correct name, you can do it that way. The file name isn't as important as the data on the actual image, to me at least. That's just my experience, okay? Then once I'm done editing all those images and everything, I'm going to re-upload them via file transfer protocol, FTP, and overwrite the existing files for images. And it's going to replace all the old images with the new images with the XF data, with the file layovers, with the image and text layovers and everything like that. Okay. Let's see, any questions we got coming in? So this is going to be the SOP. And in the SOP, I lay it out step by step. And I'll show it to you. And we have images and everything, how to do it, how to geotag, what do we use to do all the geotagging. Okay. Etc. Right. And then the other thing I'm going to give you my example, if you will, all the websites we go to get the knowledge graph, Wikipedia, Wikidata, DBpedia, Sydney, you know, knowledge graph, Wikipedia, Wikidata. It's these main sites: DBpedia, Wikidata, Wikipedia, and the knowledge graph ID on Google. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Sean, it will not take out the data. He's asked me, for example, am I doing FTP uploading via WordPress? Because sometimes WordPress can take out the data. No, it's just most of the time. Give me 1 second. Someone calling me. No brains. It's got to be an emergency if they're calling me. It's my father, so no. It's his birthday yesterday. Sorry about that, guys. I'm doing the FTP because, for example, if you do not optimize your WordPress images, what do I mean by optimize them? If you do not save them the correct sizes, the sizes that WordPress wants, WordPress will strip the data out when it optimizes it and shrinks it. Now, that being said, it will keep the EXIF data in the original image, which will still be in the database, but it will not be what's shown on the actual page of the website. So while we are doing FTP, most people are not going to want to sit here and do image by image by image by image like we do. So the easier way is go FTP, download all your images, optimize all your images using layovers, EXIF data, GeoImager, save them. And then once I save them, re-upload them via FTP and overwrite the existing images. Yep. So any other questions we got? You got about, what if you use WP photos? What are you talking about? Patrick always has these interesting questions, so I'm curious what he means. Got about 15 minutes. Y'all can get some questions in, Told you this is going to be short to the punch today. Why do you go image by image? Well, I prefer going by image because then I can name the image exactly what I want it to be named. I can have the file name. So whenever you actually look at the file name even has the keyword in it. Any image optimizer does the same thing, Susan. I've yet to find one that does not. I am feeling better, Patrick, by the way. I got the Epsom salt, so I will be later on hopefully soaking my foot in salt to get rid of that issue. I don't use Adobe Bridge. I never have. I'm not really a graphics dude for one, so I don't. Show me the benefit of it, I'll use it. Just like I used to use Adobe Photoshop for everything. Now I mainly use Canva. So are all the wiki references looking for geo or entity images on Google, etc. in the SOPs? The SOP that I'm going to give you is geotagging. It does not give you, if you will, the wiki references. The wiki references are going to be on a separate, which I give you is the example of, the towing and everything. So you know what websites to go to. So that will be on the back end as well. And you can use that information when you're optimizing photos. Not only can you use it then, you can use it in other areas as well on your website. You also use the same, if you will, URLs and stuff to pull data for your schema, advanced schema especially. A couple more questions came in. I use Canva specifically for YouTube and thumbnails and editing images. It's really easy. Patrick, you have a question about website development on a subdomain, how to clone that site and migrate to a new subdomain. Use all-in-one migrator. It's easy. Main website, go to plugins, upload all-in-one migrator, export it, go to your subdomain that you've already established or put WordPress on. Add the WordPress plugin, all-in-one migrator, hit import, it pulls it completely in. It's that easy. Adobe Bridge uses its own long and Latin. Nope, I wouldn't do that. I would never do that. It uses its own according to their own Latin long. Nope. Patrick, and when SEO client has a bad website, you create a new site for them, how redirect the old site to the new site? 301 redirects. Or if you're using a Zagio, the plugin I featured with Herc Magnus, and I have on a video, then it automatically does it for you, the 301 redirects. You don't have to recreate them. So if I had an old page and I create a new page, it redirects. Anytime I change the URL structure, it'll redirect it automatically for me. So that's another reason I love the freaking tool. If you don't have that tool, I don't know what you're doing. Do you do a new site for each client to not put a band-aid on it? I only do new sites for clients that want a new site. If they want a new site, I'll build it. If they don't, and most of our SEO clients don't, we have to do everything from scratch. So we'll do everything from scratch. you know. So if we have to, we do it from scratch, but that's generally speaking what we wind up doing. We have to do most everything you'll ever see me doing is going to be from scratch. Okay. Most clients are not going to come to you and be like, oh yeah, I want you to build a brand new site. Second. But yeah, most clients are coming with us. We're having to do everything from scratch. Daniel, what process would you recommend for migrating? Second. For migrating an existing WordPress site to a new WordPress theme with minimum net, yeah, we wouldn't do that for one. So how we do it, when we do it, we leave the old website on its own staging, its own host. I create a staging site, recreate the whole site on a staging site. We did this, you asked Jeff, 100 and something damn sites. Some of which he didn't have access to. So staging site, take the old site, migrate the content over images, text as much as possible into the new theme. Once it's done, once it's approved by the client, send it to the client, get an approval, then we migrate it to overlap the new site or the old site. That's good news. You got those. Yep. Okay. Off topic, GMB Pro or GMB SEO. Client gets a 400 quote requests a month for cell repair. Do you know of anything that can suck in client information or type of quote into an SMS CRM? So you're getting quote requests and you want to take that information, and I'm going to say take that and put it in an SMS. More than likely you'd have to talk to Kevin. He's on my friends list about that, because that's not something I quote unquote necessarily do. I do have another platform that, yeah, Zapier being one of them. I do have another platform that I can get images off of, I can generally get about, on my site, I'll get about 18,000 leads a month. 18,000 qualified leads with email addresses, with SMS most of the time. Do quotes affect SEO? If you mean quote, what do you mean by quote? You mean like quote as in quote, or you quote as in someone giving you information? Yes, there is a VA class tonight with Sir Fernell. See anything else? They ask for a type of product they want to quote on. That's not going to affect SEO. No. I mean, you can maybe do some CTR manipulation where I've went over redirects and stuff, but yep, iPhone repair, it's a good niche. I've been in that niche plenty of times. I used to do a national chain for SEO. Sean, is there a benefit sending Google Ads traffic to a website landing page versus sending to a ClickFunnels or subdomain landing page? Are you asking specifically in regards to CTR manipulation? Because there is a way in which I would do CTR manipulation using ads. And it's something I've mentioned before, but I can briefly touch on it. Not CTR related, then to me, I would personally send out. I'm a ClickFunnels guy as well. I love Brunson, reading his books. I read them all, I do it all the time. If it's specifically ads or pay-per-click, I preferably honestly would send them to ClickFunnels, because I know the reason why you're sending traffic to ClickFunnels is you want one item, one service, trying to get them in, get that money and leave. If they go to a website that's got 30 pages, 40 pages, whatever, you're going to confuse the shit out of somebody usually. All right. Hey, Holly, glad to see you made it back from the conference. Glad to have you here as usual. You're going to Vegas on Wednesday. Nice. Have fun in Vegas. You know, Jeff loves Vegas too, so. But if he went, he'd just be gambling. Fuck going to SEO. The towing website that we're working on, Jeff, is towtrucktowing.com.au. Let me know about that other stuff, Holly, if you have time. If you don't, I understand. It's cool. Let's see. Do content pages help push the home page up? Yes. Content pages. So for example, someone wants to just rank, and Holly has talked about this before. You can go after emergency plumber all you want, right? But I can go after other terms like broken or busted pipe in Orlando, frozen pipe in Michigan, whatever. And I can probably outrank you maybe in 5-10 minutes versus you taking forever to go after this one term. I can get ranked for thousands of terms. So we're going after terms with low competition, but still have search volume or, you know, keyword golden ratio. Thank you, Holly. I appreciate it. So content, think of it this way: long content versus short keywords. Emergency plumber. But if I take all those questions and create content, tips, guides, information about that Google's saying people are looking for as well, that content will also help push this content up. So when this rises, your long tail content rises, this rises. Your main keyword will rise with this, because the whole fact is you're trying to get Google to recognize you as the entity for that specific knowledge panel or that specific term, that specific entity, such as towing, plumbing, whatever, in that specific area. So yeah, it's non-debatable as far as I'm concerned, Brad. If they're having problems with it, let them have problems with it. Let them do their own thing. How do you create the inner page URL when you go for the long tail keyword? We'll go over that. Long tail has nothing to do with it. The long tail is tips, guides, blogs, press releases, stuff like that. How to write 1,500 words on a homepage and not look like it. Easy. Go to, have you seen some of our sites? Saw It Install St. Louis and some other ones. So what I do, for instance, you'll have, let's say 10 services, or let's say 5 services or whatever. I'll have about us information at the top. I'll generally have the text reviews in there. Then I'll have a snippet about each service with an image, snippet, image, snippet, image, snippet, image, all the way down, and it'll add up to about 1,500 words on the home page, and it won't look like it either. Go to Patrick, go to my Zagio SOP and go to the Zagio video. I go over that. But we'll be going over content probably next week because I already have the content done, finishing writing it up this week. I have, you know, probably 10,000, 20,000 words that we'll be adding. So, all right, guys, pretty much done for the day. Got any more questions? Let me know before I get off here. Yeah, go through my videos on keyword research. It's not confusing at all to me. And once we add the keywords in and I start adding the content, you'll see exactly how we do it. Appreciate you guys, and thank you. And thank you for your thoughts and everything. I am feeling better. I'm just not 100% yet. As soon as I get 100%, I'll definitely will. If you guys want to wish my man Fernell a happy birthday. It is his birthday today. Just go into the main group, Google My Business Help group, and say happy birthday for now. I know he'll appreciate it. He is my right-hand man. He is my partner. Can't do most of what we do without him. So, and he's the guy that leads the ship whenever I'm not here. So appreciate it. You guys be blessed. I'll upload this up as soon as we can, and take care. Y'all have a great day.